Let me show you how it's done. So should we get out of here?
Yeah, time to go.
I always want to do this.
I'm just having so much fun, honest to God. It's a great, fun part to do. And you get in the gizmos and the gadgets and stuff and fly around in that ship, and they've got that on a crane, and they're manipulating it and stuff, and you're just kind of got to imagine the whole thing. It's a real blast. I really liked it, really enjoyed it.
I was there for the dawn and the birth of the video game console. So I was very familiar with Sonic, and I know that at the time it was like a Sega versus Nintendo thing, and Mario versus Sonic. And so, yeah, I spent a long time playing the game, and then my kids, another generation, spent many hours playing the game. I'm not as familiar with it as some, but definitely knew the character and definitely had some, some good amount of hours playing Sonic when I was younger. And it's a testament to its to the character and the game, and I think it's going to go down in history as one of the greatest video games ever created, and how long it's been around and how popular it's been for so long. So it's cool to see it finally make its way to the big screen.
I had a meeting at Blur, which is where Tim Miller and Jeff Fowler, who both work on the film, were about a different project. And then at the very end of it, Tim Miller introduced me to Jeff Fowler and he goes, oh, he's going to be directing, Sonic, hopefully. And then later, a week later, they asked if I wanted to be the voice just in the test. And for me, I was so excited to be a part of the property at all. Like, I played Sonic as a kid. I'm a huge video game enthusiast, so I was like, of course. And the idea was just to do this thing. They would hopefully sell it to a studio or whatever, and that was where it was going to end. But I was so excited just to do that. And I guess it went well enough where Tom Hanks wasn't available, and I got to play Sonic the Hedgehog. It was very, very exciting. I remember getting the phone call from Jeff when he said, no, we want you for the movie now. And I did one of these, when I was by myself walking down. Yeah, it was very exciting.
I knew when I got the call to do this movie that Sonic was a game. I think I had played it once or twice, and after I got the call, I started playing it with my grandson, who humiliated me constantly. And the really fun part was I got to see how smart he was, how clued in he was, and these games have turned kids into jet pilots. I mean, they're quick, and their reflexes are awesome. And he likes to trash talk a lot. He's 9 years old, and he trash talks me. I get angry. I put money in the swear jar. And I'm actually a lot like Robotnik when we play. Yeah, hey.
I just thought you might like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk.
Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them!
He's a wonderful character to play. And, of course, he's a 300 IQ, so it took me a week and a half to prepare. It's just wonderful. And all it really comes down to is he wants to be special to somebody, only it's gone megalomania for him. He wants to be special to everyone. In fact, he wants to be the king of everyone. And, another thing he really, really wants is to be able to get a latte the way he wants it, with Austrian goat's milk.
I know you're supposed to say in these things that working with this person is like a dream and that's your hero. He really is one of the actors that I looked up to the most growing up in this business, and even before that, his stand-up. He's a hero of mine, and the one saying that he has. They say, "Don't meet your heroes," and this one, no. I'm glad I got to meet my hero. It is a joy to be on the receiving end of all of Jim's antics, all his the performance stuff that he comes up with on set. To be looking at him in the eye when he's shouting at you, spitting in your face, 10 different lines, 10 different ways, and throwing himself on the floor. It's vintage Jim Carrey, and it's such a joy to watch.
When Jim Carrey was how we learned about comedy. Things like Ace Ventura and The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, I still regard as one of the top 5 movies ever made. It is an incredible movie, but when you see this person who, you just looked up to as a legend, and now he's in this film, it's incredible. And also the type of work that he's doing in this, just resembles so much of the stuff that I loved when, you know, he was doing those movies when I was growing up, that it's so exciting to see. When we're watching, you know, cuts of this film, I would look at Jeff or James or Tika and be like you look at it like, oh, because he's doing these things that you remember, it like touches a part of your childhood, and it just gets you really excited. I was very, very excited. And I think he gives an incredible performance. I think it's so funny.
Good morning, my rural chum.
Mr. Dr. Robotnik, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to tell me where it is.
Wait! Don't hurt him!
They were a great bunch, wonderful, creative group of people, and everybody was open. And, you know, I make tons of mistakes, so I don't have any problem with people making mistakes. And I do think it's a collective thing, and the more fun you generate on that set, the more fun comes through the camera and arrests the people who are watching. So to me, a movie like this is silly fun, you know. There are themes in it that are kind of interesting and serious in a way, but, you know, James Marsden, not only a good-looking guy, just a good guy down deep, real good guy, creative, open, and Tika Sumpter was just lovely and willing to jump into anything, and she was fantastic to be with. And Ben Schwartz is just a funny guy, really creative, and so having him be the voice is really a catch, really a catch.
I think one of the things that the movie does really well is that it gives you heart in Sonic, and you care about the stakes that are happening. It's kind of like this kid that doesn't really have a place to call home, and finally, I guess without giving out too much of the movie, finally finding his place a little bit in this world, and then it being stripped away from him. It's such a story where you see heartbreak within Sonic, right? So you feel for him. It's not just cotton candy and joke. You're invested in the character, so when good and bad happens to him, you care about the path of the character. And I think those are the things that make a really exciting movie and stuff like that.
We want to honor sort of the spirit and a lot of the sort of key components of what fans of the game would want to see in the film. And we certainly didn't set out to just translate a video game into a film. Like, I think that would be kind of a flawed approach. But there are absolutely elements that we sort of acknowledge as just being very important, and we could really kind of like construct a mythology and build a story around that really would honor the spirit of the game. I mean, when you think of Sonic, you definitely think of rings, and you think of just speed, you think of the emeralds, the Chaos Emeralds, which are a big part of the mythology of the game. And so just sort of like making sure we weave some of those elements into the film seemed like just a great place to start, and so that fans, and then old and new, will sort of see that we've really made every effort to kind of like take the things that they love from the game and bring them into sort of a cinematic universe.
One of the things that I loved about the game was that when you play it, there's this aspect of it being like out of control almost at points. When you go fast enough, the idea of also going incredibly fast with a character in a video game is so exciting, but the idea that as you go fast, the game can get either more difficult or whatever, it's just harder to control. I loved the idea that you can go so fast in different ways of attacking, but the idea that you can like fly across the screen. If you have enough speed, this aspect of the stage will be different than a different part of the screen if you're going slow. Because when you play a lot of side-scrollers, a lot of the games are the same speed no matter what, but you can change the speed of Sonic so much that it can change the entire path of the game and make it crazier or more exciting or something like that. It was always really fun. Also, Robotnik is one of the craziest looking villains. That is Dr. Robotnik is very exciting to try to defeat.
I think that Sonic represents the power of innocence, the power of play, the electricity in a pure soul who just is doing his life because there is fun to be had, and that's my philosophy about life in the first place. You have to find something to do in life that not only serves people, but serves you in your heart, makes you feel like a child, makes you go, I get to wake up every day and do what I love. And that's the dream for everybody,
Let's go!